be cut because of a cash crisis at the region's councils. Town halls are having to make savings because of a funding shortfall. Our business correspondent Richard Bond has the details.
Yes, the pressure is telling just as councils set their council tax levels for the new year. We contacted all the main authorities in the region and discovered they face a shortfall of £315 million. That's the gap between their income and what they say they need to spend on services. So they're having to make savings. Councils are planning to cut 731 jobs this year, and that figure will rise because some councils haven't made up their mind yet. Services will be cut too. In Northamptonshire, councils face a shortfall of £26 million. Northampton Women's Aid, which helps victims of domestic abuse, is worried about its budget.
Without the Borough Council funding, our advice centre would not be here. And without the County Council funding, our children's service would be gone.
The income into the Borough Council is going down, and also the services that we're having to provide are increasing, particularly in terms of helping our residents through the recession.
Council's income has been hit by the recession, fewer planning applications, for example, and less revenue from car parking. Councils also blame the government.
There have been 80 new pieces of legislation which have passed increased powers and responsibilities to local government, and the population has aged, etc. So we've had a lot more responsibilities given to us, we've had a lot more problems to deal with, and the money hasn't kept pace.
I'm surprised, because the East of England has actually got £68 million more this year in local government grant, which is a 2.6% increase.
But councils say that with inflation running at 2.9%, the award is still a real terms cut. So big problems this year, but maybe we ain't seen nothing yet. With cuts in public spending likely after the general election, whoever wins, councils face a huge shake-up.
Richard, thank you very much.
And you can see more on that and the expenses claims by MPs in the Politics Show Sunday at midday.
Still to come on Look East, Pixie Lott goes back to school in Essex. That's after more news from where you live.
The television presenter Peter Purves has described a plan to close an animal rescue shelter in Suffolk as absurd. The Blue Cross Centre in Felixstowe cares for hundreds of cats and dogs every year, but could be closed for financial reasons.
There's been a Blue Cross Animal Rescue Centre in Felixstowe since 1947. It takes in animals from Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex and Cambridgeshire. And today it's needed more than ever.
A lot of the animals that we take in are from people who are having to sell their home and move into rented accommodation, and unfortunately there's very few places to rent where they will actually accept pets.
Come on then, hello!
Last year the centre rehomed 412 cats and dogs. It has a waiting list, but the Blue Cross plans to close it. The charity says funds are stretched and there's greater need in the northwest of England. It's a view Peter Purves finds baffling. He has great admiration for the charity, but hopes his intervention might prompt a rethink.
It seems odd to me that they would rob Rover to pay Fido by moving their resources from East Anglia to the northwest. Do the animals in the northwest need more support than those down here in East Anglia? Doesn't make sense to me.
The Blue Cross says the trouble is this centre is outdated and there's no room to expand. It says if it builds a new centre elsewhere, it could handle 20% more animals, spending its money much more wisely.
But 5,500 people have now joined a Facebook campaign opposing the closure. Some fear the whole affair could backfire.
I think the management are endangering the reputation of the Blue Cross. In terms of supporters around here, we've already lost count of the amount that have cancelled direct debit donations and pulling out legacies they've left. And I think in the long run they're going to lose a lot of money.
The charity says it will listen to what people have to say. A final decision is due in the spring. Richard Daniel, BBC Look East, Felixstowe.
A renewable energy plant could be built in Norfolk. Plans have been submitted for a biomass heat and power plant north of Thetford. It would cut CO2 emissions and generate the equivalent power for 68,000 homes. The Suffolk brewer Adnams has announced it will freeze its beer prices for a further 12 months to support the pub industry. This latest announcement means the price hasn't risen for 18 months. Adnams says it's committed to supporting licensees through the economic downturn.
In football, the message from the Ipswich manager Roy Keane is don't panic. They're just above the relegation zone in the Championship and with some new faces in the squad play Middlesbrough tomorrow.
Out with the old, in with the new. David Healy and Daryl Murphy teaming up with new friends. A change of surroundings, but a manager they're familiar with from their Sunderland days.
We certainly hope they're going to score goals for us, particularly David. I think David's more of a goal scorer, maybe so than Murph, but Murph has scored goals to me, particularly in the Championship. Having said that, you know, we can't expect miracles from the two boys either. You know, we still have to create chances for them.
Scoring goals has been a problem all season. Joint top scorer John Stead has 6 in 20 appearances. John Walters also has 6, but he's out injured. Pablo Cunyago with 3, a strike rate of just 1 in 6. Connor Wickham hasn't found the net since August. Both his goals came against Shrewsbury. Roy Keane's patience ran out with Tamas Priskin, sent on loan to QPR. Stern John's loan didn't have the desired effect. 1 goal in 9 outings. As for Healy, perhaps best known for this.
David Healy scores their first goal against England for 25 years.
But Northern Ireland's all-time leading scorer has found Premier League goals harder to come by.
People always ask why, my international record's much better than it is domestically, but the sooner I get back and Murph gets back playing week in, week out, the better for us both.
Murphy's last goal 2 years ago, when they come, they're breathtaking.
Great shots, great goal!
I've probably played 70% of my games at Sunderland as a left midfielder. So, given a chance as a striker, I know I can score goals, and if I do play as a striker, I will.
Roy Keane's keeping cool, but he's hoping his new-look front line show off their skills against Middlesbrough tomorrow. Tom Williams, BBC Look East, Ipswich.
In League One, Norwich City go in search of their 9th consecutive win tomorrow at Millwall. Paul Lambert, who's been nominated for January's Manager of the Month award, will be without Grant Holt again. The striker's serving the last of his 3-game ban. Adam Drury also won't play due to injury.
The lads have came through every test that's come up in front of them, and I can't ask for any more. They're playing with great confidence at the minute, playing with great ability, which always helps you. And we'll take a lot of people at the game.
Colchester United and Southend don't play until Monday when they face each other in the Essex derby at the Community Stadium. There'll be extended highlights of that game, plus a full roundup of the weekend's football action in late kick-off on Monday night with Matt Holland at 11:05.
The Queen has opened a new extension to a museum in King's Lynn. With Prince Philip, she was given a tour of Trews Yard Fishing Heritage Museum. It's all that's left of the old fishing community. The extension was built to incorporate a smokehouse. A new film festival starts in the region tonight, not as famous as Cannes, not as glamorous as Venice, but the festival at Great Hockham in Norfolk is planning to make its mark.
There is something stirring at Great Hockham Village Hall. The chairs are out, the screen is up, and the teacups are sparkling. It's a sellout for tonight's premiere. This is the Breckland Film Festival for towns and villages which don't have a cinema. A chance for people to get up off the sofa and enjoy a good night out.
It's a great chance for the community to get together and see a good film and to have a catch-up with their neighbours. To support the village halls, to support the committees, to raise money for them. They can sell tickets, create money from refreshments and raffles, so it's a good fundraiser for them.
The festival is a collaboration between the Council and Creative Arts East. A short film has been produced by a local filmmaker, and the launch is in Great Hockham tonight.
It's a bit of a social gathering as well. The village gets together as a community event. Everybody loves that, loves to come along and have a chat. But to actually see one of these, one of the films, and we're hoping to show some classics if we can in the future. And people won't necessarily have seen those on a bigger screen like the one we're showing here tonight.
The film showing tonight is Slumdog Millionaire, and one of the villagers is cooking some Indian food. So the Breckland Film Festival is getting off to a fine start. Mike Liggins, BBC Look East, Great Hockham.